Mrs. Festa's Math Lesson Summary, Unit 6, Expressions and Equations, Lesson 13. Powers and exponents. We're going to label the parts. So the 3 is our base, the 4 is our exponent, and together they make a power. Powers are mathematical expressions that mean repeated multiplication. The base is a number that is repeated. The exponent tells you how many times to repeat the base. The power, 3 to the 4th power, means 3 repeated 4 times and can be written in expanded form, like 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. There are 3 ways to write powers. You can write them in exponential form, 5 to the 3rd power, or 5 cubed. Expanded form, which is writing it out in the multiplication expression, 5 times 5 times 5, or standard form, which is the product or answer, 125. This is the product of the expanded form. It is very important to organize your math when finding standard form. The associative property of multiplication says that we can group the factors of multiplication problem. So if we look at 4 to the 5th power, we write out 4 times 4 times 4 times 4 times 4. We can group pairs of 4s together and multiply them and get 16 times the last 4. 16 times 16 is 256. Take that times 4 and you get the answer of 1024. So 2 to the 6th power is the number 2 written down 6 times. We can group that into 3 pairs. 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 2 is the other 4. And then the last 2 times 2 is the third set of 4. So 4 times 4 gives you 16 and times the last 4, and 16 times 4 is 64. 4 to the 2nd power, as I just said, can be read as 4 to the 2nd power, or 4 squared. 5 to the 3rd power, or 5 cubed. Our next page is 6.12 and 6.13, meaning of exponents and expressions with exponents. We're going to fill in the blank. The A is our base. The N is our exponent. Remember, together they make a power. If the exponent is a positive whole number, it tells us how many factors of the base we should multiply to find the value of the expression. So again, 3 to the 4th power means 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. We can say this as 3 to the 4th power as 3 raised to the 4th power, or 3 to the 4th power, or just 3 to the 4th. Which of the following expressions are equivalent? List all that apply. Well, when we look through these expressions, A and C are equivalent because A says 2.5 to the 5th power and C is that in expanded form. B and D are equivalent because it says 5 times 2.5, and 2.5 added together 5 times is that sentence. Remember, these are not exponents, so you're just adding them together. It would be the same as 5 times 2.5, and E does not match any of the others. Example 2, write your own expression in which the base is larger than the exponent and state its meaning. So 6 2/3 to the 3rd power would be 6 2/3 times 6 2/3 times 6 2/3. Some exponents have special ways of saying them. To the 2nd power is often just said as squared. To the 3rd power is often just said as cubed.